Welcome to Roll and Review, where we talk about all things nerdy and awesome. I'm Jim.
And I'm Alex.
And we got our Roll and Review show.
Yeah, we're combining a couple of the aspects so we don't have too many videos coming out. We're going to take all the movie news and the comic news and any game news, anything coming out. We're just going to combine it into one good video for everyone.
Absolutely. And so now it's this. I know. You're going to do something stupid over me during that. Anyway, so let's get started. Just talking about comics right now. First one, Captain America #1.
Woo!
It's a #1, so I read it.
America.
This is Captain America Road to War #1. Now,
Quick side note. Everything Captain America has to do is with war. It's actually a cool fan theory going why he couldn't lift Mjolnir. Is because he's actually a warmonger. He has the good at heart, but he cannot exist without beating the lights out of somebody.
see, that's interesting because the few times that he has lifted Mjolnir has only been during the heat of battle.
But at that point, like, his heart's pure in what he's doing it for.
Exactly.
But in general, he has to have conflict, and Mjolnir doesn't see that as worthy.
Exactly. Until he's actually in the battle.
Yeah.
But so, this Captain America book, when I first picked it up, I was like, what is this? And like, I was asking around, I was like, okay, what Road to War, what is this? Like, because there's Civil War 2 coming out in the comics.
Can I see the cover real quick while you're talking about it?
Absolutely. And it didn't dawn on me until I started reading it. This is actually a comic leading up to the movies.
Oh. Yeah, well, seeing as how it's all people in the same costume that they have for the MCU.
Exactly. And it just, it didn't get to me until I started reading it.
That's really cool.
And it's kind of their first, Black Widow. The whole story is, Rogers is asking Black Widow about, each of these people. You've kind of inspected the troops, what's your view on it? Yeah. And she gives, her opinion on, where they're technically good and whatnot. And she's like, they're fine as individuals, but they're an unseasoned team. They're an untested team. So it kind of takes them out on their first, team assignment, which is kind of part of the cleanup of the whole Age of Ultron.
Because this is the team that he almost says Avengers Assemble to at the end of Age of Ultron.
Exactly. So. And he does say Avengers Assemble in this.
Of course, about time.
They won't say it in the movies, but they'll say it in the comics.
Quit teasing us. It's no longer Joss Whedon, so he might stop teasing and actually give us what we want.
Come on, Joss Whedon. Don't be a tease.
He's always been a tease. He's a great guy, but he's always a tease.
Exactly.
Cool, good reading. Fans?
It's interesting. For movie fans who haven't read much of comic books, this pretty much just fits right in with what we know from the movies. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to know much about the other characters. If you've watched the movies, you know these characters because these are the characters from the movies.
It's the MCU universe.
Exactly. And
it's an actual universe within Marvel.
Exactly. And it'll give you a little bit of insight of, post Age of Apocalypse, before Civil War.
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, yes. Because Apocalypse is X-Men.
Yes, it is. And they don't have the rights for that.
They do.
No. You want to get them sued because you couldn't talk right? Come on now.
No, they're not going to get sued. I'm going to get sued. Oh, no. No, but so it's Age of Ultron, between that and the Civil War movie coming out. It's a really short, quick read.
Oh, is it before Ant-Man or after Ant-Man?
It didn't really, it seemed like just after Age of Ultron.
Okay. Sounds good.
So they're literally dealing with some people who took Ultrons and were doing bad things with them.
Yeah.
So it was
fair
legitimately right after it, and it's part of the cleanup. It's an if you're a huge comic fan, you're reading comics. It's probably not necessary for you to read it. It's an interesting little read, but this is really made for the moviegoers. This is made for the people who are watching the movies.
So final thoughts, if you're only comic fan, skip it, but if you love the MCU, give it a shot?
Absolutely. If you love the MCU, you love the movies, and you want to know kind of what's happening between the movies, this gives you a little bit of a snapshot between the last Avengers movie and new Captain America movie.
So what's next?
What's next is a little close to my heart. Star Trek Manifest Destiny.
Man, what's this one about?
So this takes place in the new rebooted Star Trek universe.
Okay.
With the new Kirk, new Spock, and everything. There's still, enemies with the Klingon.
Is this after Into Darkness or?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So they're out doing their missions.
They got they got the 5-year mission, so it would be after Into Darkness.
Yeah, they're exploring. They're in a sector of a galaxy that they have yet to. No Federation has explored, but it starts off with the Klingons taking over a planet, like just brutally taking over a planet.
Sounds like a very Klingon thing to do.
Yeah, but there's even like some infighting with them because the commander is like, kill all the children.
Ooh.
Keep the fertile males and females. We'll basically force them to mate, and
get slaves.
We will raise children who won't know of this planet before us, so they can't hate us and rebel against us. Wow. And one of the Klingons is even like, that's not honorable. That's not what we do. That's against our code. And the guy's just like, I don't care because we're so far from Kronos, which is the homeworld of the Klingons, if you didn't know. He's like, I don't care what those bureaucrats and politicians say in Kronos. This is what we're doing. I don't care. And they basically rig a way to draw the Federation in and ambush the away team. And so it's a really cool start. And you kind of see you see a space battle.
Ooh.
You see a...
Do they have like a warbird or...
Yep.
Bird of prey, sorry, not warbird. It's a Romulan warbird. It's a Klingon bird of prey.
Yeah,
sorry.
So there's a bird of prey.
Don't get mad at me, troopers.
That was previously cloaked and then comes out, attacks the Enterprise. The Enterprise finally hits them back, hits their weapons center to kind of knock out their attacks for a little bit while they kind of recoup, and then it ends essentially with a boarding party flying through space at the Enterprise, and the engines are down, so there is no getting away from it. So it's gonna turn into
how Scotty can eject the warp core this time.
We'll see. But this is a fight. This is part of the big fights and all that we don't always get to see, but we're gonna see a lot of in the new Star Trek movie. And this is more of that fighting. And it's a really cool story. I'm a big Star Trek fan. I've watched pretty much every Star Trek episode ever. I've watched
original series or Next Generation.
I love Next Generation.
I'm with you on that, and I love Picard. I will always have fond memories of the original series, but I grew up with Next Generation, so that's always going to be my Star Trek.
Oh yeah, I mean Next Generation was I would come home from school, my dad would be home, and we'd turn on, it was Spike TV had it throughout the day, and we'd watch 3 Next Generation episodes, and my dad's like, so have you done your homework? I'm like,
Next Generation.
So it's a really cool story. It was really exciting. I loved reading it. If you like Star Trek in any form, pick it up and read it. Even if you don't, some of the things
you'll have fun with it though.
Kronos, you'll be like, what are they talking about? Because if you don't know a lot about the Klingons, but it's still interesting because it's still this fighting and battle.
You'll have fun. It's a fun comic, even if you don't know Star Trek.
Exactly.
Sounds good. So what's next?
So what's next? Wrap up of Standoff.
Standoff is done.
Standoff is done. This is the last thing of Standoff, which I'm actually really happy about.
Good, because no one cared when we talked about it anyway.
People like Standoff.
Nobody cared.
We're not watching that. So I'll make it short for you guys. Essentially, all those little comics that were all over the place, that were all headed to the same point, finally got to the same point in the very last issue.
Okay.
Where they finally kind of get a hold of get a hold of what's going on, and all of the different teams going to battle together as one giant crowd. Because one thing with this is they haven't named an Avengers team. They're the new Avengers, the Uncanny, the all different Avengers.
Tryout Avengers, get ready.
Right, and so it was okay, what's going on? And we've known Steve Rogers is coming back to be young Steve Rogers because they announced a Steve Rogers book, and he gets made young. And in this, Sam Wilson is so you're Captain America again, and Steve Rogers is like, no, I told you, you're Cap. I gave you the shield for a reason. You're Cap, and they're fighting together, and he's just the world needs both of us. They need you as Cap. They need me as Cap. They like
Yeah.
because they do things in such different ways.
Yeah.
That was that moment of like we can both be Captain America, and we can both do things our way, and like it'll be awesome. So you had like a good feeling about like, okay, yeah, both these guys can be Captain America at once. You see all the Avengers teams kind of like working together, fighting. Was it Zemo ended up being like the person in Pleasant Hill that was leading all the villains. And so you see Zemo and his team of villains up against all the Avengers, and it was very much like no matter what Avengers team you're on, like the Avengers is a family, and like we're all in this together. Let's go. You know, Steve Rogers kind of leading them all to victory, which is just fun to see because we all love Steve Rogers, and he is that like iconic leader for Marvel and the Avengers that were like Steve Rogers at the helm.
Well, ever since the MCU.
Yeah. And there was always like kind of a balance between like Stark and Rogers.
But since mainstream,
mainstream, yeah. But you know, he is that leader, and he leads this ragtag group of these young kids and
all the people.
You know, Miles Morales, Nova, Miss Marvel, who are like teenagers, along with people like Deadpool, Rogues, Cable, Voodoo, like all these like random people all coming together and just rocking out and just taking the bad guys.
And the only reason Deadpool's there is because of Steve Rogers, right?
Yeah, Steve Rogers brought Deadpool on the Uncanny Avengers to kind of bankroll them, because in this new like combined world of the post Secret Wars, Deadpool has tons of money because he has a mercenary group that just makes him bank. And so he's like Iron Man and Stark, they're poor right now in the universe, pretty much. Like Stark Tower got taken away. He had to sell it off, and like he's like rebuilding his empire. So they like brought Deadpool on to like bankroll the Avengers.
And the only person Deadpool respects is Steve Rogers.
Pretty much, because even in like the Civil War book, the Cable Deadpool spinoff of Civil War, Deadpool sides with Team Iron Man and the government. He's going to take down all the heroes, and he's like, oh, all these like B-rated heroes, I can take them down easy, but I really need to take them down before I go after Captain America, because Captain America is probably going to beat me, and the only way I have the smallest chance is if I take them all out first and I fight him one-on-one, because he's just that good. So there is that like respect there. But yeah, so
and they were both government experiments. So
exactly, but it finally got to this.
Was it worth it?
It was. But I'm going to stick with what I said when I first talked about it, and that was wait for the trade to come out. Because instead of either going back or trying to figure out which order to read all those in, because they didn't make it very clear on exactly which book should be read first, just wait for the trade to come out. There will be a trade of the whole story. It'll all be in order, and just buy that and read that. It'll have everything in order, and you'll get it all at once, which is perfect.
Okay.
The last comic, Legend. Now you may notice the font. It is a comic based in the same world as the renowned Will Smith movie I Am Legend, which is based on a book.
Is this based on the movie or the book?
Like neither. There's not a single human being in this, and it kind of lost me. It's dogs. It's all dogs. And, like, dogs are talking to each other. And,
that's weird.
And not even in, like, what we think is, like, you know, kind of, you know, barks or whatever, and, like, kind of broken English trying to match these things. It's just, like, full sentences. And dogs are talking to each other.
Do you say them in British accents, the British accent dogs?
I mean, I thought of a few in British accents. In my head, I heard them as British accents. But, like...
I say, Reginald, where's my boat?
You don't even, like... You don't even see the like the creatures, zombies, or whatever. You don't even see those. You see like some monster in like one page, but I was like, talking dogs. The story isn't that, like, the dialogue isn't fantastic. the story just wasn't compelling, and I was like, so I'm probably not going to keep reading this.
Okay.
I got through the book just to get through the book.
So good. We read it, so you didn't have to skip it.
Yeah, it wasn't worth the $3.99 it cost to pick it up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that compelled me to keep reading it. The art was okay, but the art wasn't even that good. Like, some books can be carried by the art, and it wasn't even that. So
I'm not saying anything.
Squarriors comes out this month.
Completely unrelated. Squarriors comes out this month.
I talk about Squarriors all the time, but it comes out this coming month, May. I just had Free Comic Book Day, so. But that's an example of a book that gets carried by its art.
All right, so that's the comic news.
That's
right
the
now.
comic stuff.
In movies, we talked about a couple of trailers that dropped. They also announced that Spider-Man: Homecoming is going to be the official title for the Phase 3 Spider-Man movie, starring Tom Holland as Spidey. It's probably going to be cool. Everything I've heard is that Spider-Man is absolutely incredible. You're going to love him. He's the best Spider-Man to date, so I can't wait. It's going to be fun. It's unfortunate that they lost Michael Keaton as going to be. They talked about him being the villain in the movie, so we're going to see where they go from there. But
yeah, there were rumors of Vulture being the villain.
Yeah.
Of this. I'm not. Who knows where they're going to go. One thing that, and this is all speculation, that someone asked me, was Civil War comics #2. A very famous part of the comics is Spider-Man takes off his mask.
Yeah.
They went, well, is he going to do that? And in Civil War, is that why it's Homecoming, because he's coming back home?
I don't think so.
And I figured not.
But what I understand, there's a Spider-Man Homecoming actual comic series, and I think they're going to go from that.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're going for.
I hope so.
It's too early to reveal Peter Parker as Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, especially because in that speech where he unveils himself, he's like, I've been Spider-Man since I was 16, and well, Tom Holland looks about 16. So it'd be like, I've been Spider-Man for a week, and here I am.
and they're saying that he's a high school Spider-Man. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see Civil War, so I can actually talk more about Spider-Man and how much, if I like him or if I don't. Exactly. So that's what we've got right now for him, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited for the movie. With Marvel basically being able to make the movies and just Sony making the money off of it, we know it's going to be good.
Oh yeah. Everyone's saying the airplane scene is the best action scene in superhero history, possibly up there in film history. So I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
All right. What else? You said you had some game news to talk about.
I did. So a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, Battleborn had its open beta. It's open for like a total of 4 days or something like that. I got a chance to play it. Of course, I'll go way more in depth when the game actually comes out and we do our official review. But this is definitely from what I played, this is definitely a game that is meant to be played with friends, whether online or together in the same place.
Couch co-op,
which is something I've been asking for so long.
It's been so long with all this online only that you have to have either 2 Xboxes, 2 PS4s, or 2 computers, and it can be such a pain because it's not convenient if you want to play with your friend in the same room. So now that we actually have some good couch co-op, about time.
Oh yeah, and so you only got to play 2 of the story missions in the beta, which is fun. Yeah, it was great. However, if they don't change things, there's not tons to draw you from one mission to the next, because they're very much play this mission, get the group together, play this mission. Okay, mission's done. Go back to the home screen. Now go in, select mission 2, go in, play. And there wasn't it wasn't a story mode where you play mission 1, it pulls you to mission 2 automatically, and you feel a natural story cutscene to okay, now we gotta go do this, and give you an explanation for the next one. It was very much here's what we're doing, go do it. And
yeah, it's a beta.
It's a beta, but it's also kind of, it feels very much like a Team Fortress or League of Legends game, because the main thing really is going to be the multiplayer.
Okay.
There were 2 different types of multiplayers you can play. One is very much like team deathmatch, you're trying to lead your minions to destroy the other team's stuff.
Yeah.
But it pretty much turned into like team deathmatch of like you're just out to kill the other PCs. While the other one, you're out to kill the PCs, but you were leading your minions to like basically get sacrificed, and you get points when your minions get sacrificed at like certain points. So it was very much like not necessarily just trying to kill the other team, but like trying to distract them at certain points and like trying to hit their minions so that your minions can overpower them and move forward.
Interesting.
It was very much more, I felt it was much more strategic than the other one that was just turned into team deathmatch.
Yeah.
But we'll see. There's tons of unlockable stuff to do. So it's going to be a lot of hours. It's going to be a lot of grinding.
That's good.
But
grinding, but
it's going to be grinding. But hopefully, with the multiplayer and being able to do couch co-op with your friends, and
the
all
grinding is fun.
It's going to be hopefully enjoyable.
And what I've been playing is the second level of Hitman. No subtitle came out. So all you running around Paris killing Viktor Novikov 50 times in a row can have some new people to kill now. I love. Normally, people would be really put off with these releasing episodes at a time, but it's not DLC. You bought the game, you get these upcoming levels.
Good.
And these levels are massive. They're big levels with so many NPCs with actual routines. It's not like they're just standing around. Like they notice things. If the guy's a cook, he's cooking things. He's like they actually have a schedule. Like they go and they'll make food. Your target will come eat lunch and go to something else. Goes to golf lesson. Then after the golf lesson, he goes has a affair with his co-worker. It's completely utterly ridiculous and it's fun.
Sure.
We're gonna actually have a more in-depth review of these 2 episodes and the tutorial coming out soon, so we'll talk about it more there.
Absolutely. Was there anything else game-wise? So I think that kind of covers everything. So if you have a comment on any of the comics, the video games, the open beta, or Hitman, or anything movie-wise, please let us know in the comments below. We want to hear what you guys think.
If there's any games you want us to play and review, let us know there too, and we'll see y'all later.